Saint Anthony of Potrero. This is a place of many crannies, streets pushed together at odd angles and secret coves huddled by hills and waters. The fog glides in and vision is concentrated to a foot or to 5 feet or to the end of the block. This supports the common misconception that it is easy to hide things here or easy to lose them. This belief has taken on metaphorical and spiritual dimensions, all of them false. I don't know how it is in the rest of the world, but I know that it is impossible to lose anything in San Francisco. The ground spits up anything you bury. This is a place of reemergences, buried hatchets, bad laws, old boyfriends, they all tend to come back around. While some of the city is, indeed, built on ancient Indian burial grounds, more of it is built on landfill, an efficient substance for material resurrections. Nothing is lost, but it is only fair to admit that every now and again, something may become lost to you. Short-sighted concealment of difficult facts and objects is attainable within certain bounds. You go to a place you do not know well. Cover the thing with sticks and leaves, or nudge it into a particularly dark afternoon shadow, walk away and never come to that spot again, even in dreams. It isn't lost, but you've left it for someone else to find. In most cases, that will be me. I am a prodigious finder of the things you've left behind. There is nothing unusual in the way that I find, though I flatter myself that I have an ethic of noticing. A friend who works for the housing projects out on Alameda tells me the kids dug up a barrel of jet fuel left over from the military base. They only had to put that stuff a few feet deep, she said. Out in the desert, they found a girl who'd been buried in 1965. For 50 years, the wind had stood at her graveside and scooped the dirt away in handfuls, like a good dog or a lover, down on wind hands and wind knees. Once, when I was young, a spring flood brought up the box in which I'd buried the last year's hamster. Bobbing in the small creek, the box had been shining hard plastic, bright purple and irresistible, like something with sunken treasure inside. Now there has been no rain for 3 years, but the dust has proved just as good for uncovering. This is earthquake weather, hot and dry and so still that sounds drop into quiet. You hear the drop into quiet more than the sound itself. Earthquake weather is finding weather. All that shifting, it churns things up from faster and from deeper down. In 1989, I found an iron wedge from pioneering times, and my neighbor in Bernal Heights saw the entire history of his failed first marriage expurged onto the lawn. He pulled up 2 folding chairs out of the garage, and we sat side by side, sipping beers that had gotten warm, and he let me look through what was there. The earthquake is just the world's mistaken belief that it can lose us. On today's search, I found a full can of navy beans, 3 women's high-heeled shoes, a stained and stinking $20 bill, 5 handfuls of animal fur, and a piece of carved rock that could be from almost any age of human history. Yesterday, I found a love letter to a man who shares my name and many details of my personal life, a piece of green cloth, and a small fire burning. Tomorrow, I expect to find smooth stones, sea glass, and a long, curling red hair, but that is only speculation, and what I do find may be very different. I have only found one body, a too brave swimmer washed to the top of Ocean Beach. But I have discovered many pieces. Blood dotting the sidewalk outside a Valencia Street bar on a Sunday morning, a crushed and tiny tooth beneath the monkey bars in a Bayview schoolyard, bits of fingernails everywhere, blending into the fine gutter grit. Tony Bennett left his heart here. I wonder who found that. I am not a collector. I do not take these things home. I have watched a man's flannel shirt decay into loam just outside the gates of the McKinley Square dog park. The lost things are rarely found, almost never used. Not long ago, I found something that disturbed me. I found it at rush hour in the Embarcadero BART station. People were bending around it like something dangerous, great streams of people parting all around it, but no one looking. I stopped a woman to ask her if she saw the thing and knew why she was walking this arcing path, but when she looked at me, there was real fear on her face, and so I let her go and said I was sorry. I took that thing home. It is sitting on my bookshelf now, but I am growing less and less sure of it. It wants to be lost more than most things. It comes closer to achieving it. I am restless now at night. I count the things I have found the way I was once told to count sheep, but the moment when my mind loses hold of them always shocks me back awake. An empty Starbucks cup on Telegraph Hill bleeds its image into an empty Pete's cup in North Beach, and I am clammy hands, heart pounding, the last one who knew the difference. I look at the thing on the bookshelf. I try to remember it before I open my eyes. The details shift and blur. I remember a blue necklace sitting on top of a closed trash bag outside a hair salon in the Avenues. I remember 4 or 5 different discarded Barbie dolls, smooth and pink. I remember a rusted metal coil poking out of a soccer field sod. I remember these things and fix them in place. I look up at the thing on the bookshelf, and for a moment I am reassured. I close my eyes and let things slip. I hear the settling of the house, or the rustling of the woman downstairs, awakening and dressing for a late night shift, and I think I am hearing the crackling of fault lines. In every passing truck, I feel the rumbling of the big one that will launch the California coast into the sea, bobbing and drifting, finally, fully shaken loose.